This includes 3 5-star players, guard Sania Hall of Ohio and forward Satia Fagan of Australia and Sarah Okeke from Spain. Also, All-American Juju Watkins will be back after recovering from a knee injury. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 oh. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 oh. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 oh. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, oh, oh. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA, Talk 1580, download the app.
You are listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host, in for our friend and brother, Jesse Jackson Jr. I'm in touch until you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nicordelai. Just type in Dr. Niq, DRNIIQ, and there I am. Fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app if you haven't already. Download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or you can just tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580 if you're feeling fancy. Last but certainly not least, subscribe to the KBLA YouTube channel. That way, you will not miss out on the opportunity to see us in action, right? You can listen to us on YouTube, but you can also see us on YouTube, and you can even get in the group chat on YouTube, and we love that. We have a great show in store for you today. I'm really delighted to welcome back to the show a frequent contributor, Barbara Arnwine, Esquire, is joining us. She's president and founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition, and she is an internationally renowned contributor on critical justice issues, including the passing of the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1991 and the 2006 reauthorization of provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Barbara, welcome to the show. Oh, well, let me not get ahead of myself. Barbara Arnwine will be joining us in short order, but in this hour, instead, we're going to talk with Liz King. Liz King, she served as the Education Equity Senior Program Director for the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. That's a position that she held for about a decade. And she led a lot of the organization's work to ensure that all students are fully included in welcoming schools and early childhood through post-secondary education. And in school that prepares them for college, for careers, for life, and the full exercise of their rights, their social rights, their political rights, their economic rights. And throughout her tenure at the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights, she coordinated a lot of their coalition work. Here to talk to us about the state of that work, the things that may keep Liz up late at night. Please welcome Liz King.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here, Dr. Corte. I just have a minute. I just have to say something. It's so funny, you introducing me as Barbara Arnwine. I have spent my life being not quite as awesome as the person people are expecting. So first it was, they'd be expecting Congressman Shaka Fatah, and then I would show up. And then they would be expecting Marian Wright Edelman, and I would show up. And then they'd be expecting Wade Henderson, and I would show up. And then they'd be expecting Vanita Gupta, and I would show up. And now here we are, the incomparable Barbara Arnwine. But I'm excited that your guests will have a chance to hear from Barbara Arnwine in the next hour. And I hope to be mildly interesting by comparison. But thank you so much. It's great to be here, and I am looking forward to the conversation.
Well, I'm looking forward to the conversation as well. And for all of our streamers and listeners, know that that conversation with Barbara Arnwine is coming up in short order. That's in our second hour. But this hour, we are very pleased to have Liz King, a leader from the front lines. It's been doing incredible work for a long time. When we come forward, I want to ask Liz, what is keeping her up late at night? I have a feeling, based on some of the latest political headlines, I have a feeling what's keeping her up late at night, but we'll hear directly from Liz. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
$800 200 2257.
Where you eating at? Hi, I'm Greg Doolin, inviting you to a special celebration of Women's History Month. Join KBLA Talk 1580 for its annual symposium, The State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live from Doolin Soul Food on Crenshaw. Friday, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., moderated by Dominique DePrima. And yes, breakfast is just $15.80. Come get fed twice. Your stomach and your mind will thank you. We'll see you Friday morning, March 27th, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. at Doolin Soul Food on Crenshaw for the State of Black Women in LA. Broadcast live only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Roger and Tracy saved over $18,400. Cynthia was recovering from a family tragedy and saved over $10,300. If you are drowning in debt, then call Debt Blue. Debt Blue is a professional debt negotiation firm with over 20 years of experience helping people pay back a fraction of what they owe. Learn how to cut your debt up to half or maybe more. Be debt-free in 24 to 48 months, even with bad credit. With an A+ rating from the BBB, you can rest easy knowing Debt Blue is going to deliver guaranteed debt reduction. Debt Blue offers a success guarantee. You pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. That's right. You save money or it's free. Call now for significant debt relief and a free consultation. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879. You don't have to declare bankruptcy. This program works if you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in debt. Call for your free consultation today. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Wally drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. You can typically find me here on KBLA Talk 1580 weekdays, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, and afternoon drive time as host of A More Perfect Union, where we go beyond some of the day's political headlines and at least attempt to separate the fact from the fiction. But here, I'm delighted to be sitting in for our friend, our brother, Jesse Jackson Jr., who is away. And this hour, we're talking to Liz King. Liz King, formerly with the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. Liz King, prior to joining the conference, she served as Senior Policy Associate for Education at the Children's Defense Fund and focused on school discipline reform and school funding equity. And before the break, Liz, I was asking you, what is keeping you up late at night these days?
Yeah, I think we are in a very, very scary moment in the United States. We're looking at this convergence of an agenda of hate and bigotry that is about consolidating power in the hands of a very few number of people. You know, we have seen, obviously, Trump right now is fixated on trying to make it harder for people to vote, trying to make it harder for women to vote, make it harder for older people, people with disabilities, because he knows that there is no way he stays in power, that he will continue to be unchecked if people have the right to vote. But part of what we've seen is this cynical ploy to attach all these things together. So we see in the Senate, there was an effort, you know, a terrible, cynical effort to say, hey, here's an opportunity to really attack the rights and the dignity of transgender people. Maybe that will be enough to get people to support this voter suppression. And it didn't work, thankfully. And we saw Democratic senators reject that mean-spirited move about undermining our democracy and our civility to one another. But it really is a challenging time. We're seeing all this nonsense at the airports made so much worse by the presence of ICE. We need less ICE, not more, in our neighborhoods and communities. And being at the airport is a stressful time. And, you know, we're seeing that made worse. So there's just a lot of reasons to stay awake, a lot of reasons that it's hard to go to sleep right now. But what I will say, you know, the thing that always keeps me going is the recognition that while all of these forms of marginalization, of discrimination, of bigotry are tied together, so too is our liberation. And every time they come at us from one angle or another, or they attack one community or another, we're reminded how powerful we are when we stick together. And I think that's got to be the lesson that carries us through in this really, really challenging moment in our nation's history.
Yeah, and we know that voting rights are not a silver bullet, but they are a part of the path to our liberation. It has been a part of our path to liberation, being able to decide who represents us at the highest levels of government. It's been a tool of our liberation and advancement that has been under attack, quite frankly. The Guardian reporting that Trump is promoting Voter ID Act and he's dismissing concerns about gas prices and a falling stock market. That's what we're hearing from the president of the United States. He seems hell-bent on passing what, to me, appears to be one of the most significant pieces of voter suppression legislation that we have seen come out of this Congress in a long time. What do you make of the president's obsession over passing the SAVE Act, which you know and I know will make voting more difficult for more Americans, not less? I'm particularly thinking about women who have changed from their maiden name to their married name, right? And so getting the necessary government documents that they need in order to prove they are who they say they are, it becomes incredibly cumbersome. You mentioned the trans community a moment ago. We know the difficulties that folks who've transitioned, whose ID does not necessarily reflect their sex at birth. We know it's going to make voting more difficult for them. We saw what just happened in the Texas primary, where there were, polling stations that folks were used to going to that were suddenly closed. Suddenly you have more people that had to go to less polling stations. And so what do you make of this carefully crafted campaign to hinder, if not kill, our voting rights state by state, one piece of legislation at a time?
Yeah, I think what we're being reminded of here is the power of our vote. And they know how powerful our vote is. So no one should ever question whether it matters if they vote or not, because what Trump is showing us right now is how much it matters. They're going to go to great lengths to keep people in Dallas from voting, to keep people in Kansas from voting, to keep people in California from voting, keep people in Mississippi from voting. So they are really going to great lengths to make it as hard as they possibly can, because they know they can't win elections if the voice of the people is actually heard. They know they don't meaningfully have the support of the American people. I mean, this bill, this so-called SAVE Act that Trump is trying to ram through, congressional Republicans think that he's going too far. Congressional Republicans think they can't even sell it. The Speaker of the House was asked, hey, can you give me one example? Give me one example where this bill would have stopped fraudulent voting. One example where this bill would have been needed. You keep saying there's this problem. Give me one example. He couldn't come up with one example. I mean, this is not about solving a problem. This is about making it harder to vote. And it's just part of the same agenda. We're seeing that it's about avoidance. It's about hiding the real issues. It's about avoiding the real problems that are facing families today. And instead coming up with fake problems and dangerous solutions that only serve to cause harm and to limit our future as a nation. I mean, it really is terrible. And I think it's a reminder that these midterm elections that are coming up are going to be we've been saying this for years now, the most important election of our lifetime, And on some level, everyone is. And you're absolutely right. Voting is only ever the beginning. And being civically engaged and holding your government accountable, it takes more than voting. And we know that we're going to need everybody to vote in these midterms, no matter what obstacles they throw in our way. We're all going to have to find a way to have our voice heard, because they know that is the real accountability mechanism that they're trying to avoid.
You mentioned a moment ago just how unpopular the SAVE Act is, even among Republicans. On Thursday, Tom Tillis, a Republican senator from North Carolina, he announced that he would not support removing the 60 vote threshold. And he criticized the crackdown on vote by mail, which is used by several Republican-run states, including Utah, Florida, Alaska, and Montana. In fact, in terms of hypocrisy here, President Trump has voted by mail in Florida. And so, Liz, tell me, is this a profile in courage? What do you make of Tom Tillis's comments on the president's efforts to thwart the way that we do elections in this country?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from Senator Tillis is a reminder that there are a whole lot of people out there who are going along with this Trump nonsense, even though they may not believe it. And he's not running for re-election, so he feels like he has the room to speak out. And I guess I'm glad that he is doing it now. He could have been doing it for years and years. We've needed to hear his voice. But, I guess better late than never coming to the party. I think it is this. I mean, they know this is a mess. They know this is the wrong way to do things. They know this is not right and not okay. But I think, the example of Trump voting by mail is a good example. This is about, he gets his, this is about more power, more money for him, and less power and less money for everybody else. This is all just about the cult of Trump, enriching Trump. And too many of these Republican politicians have been going along with it for too long. And we see, either they get burned themselves or they decide to remove themselves from the system so that they're no longer, under his boot in that same way. And we hear what it is they say they thought all along. So I'm glad that Senator Tillis is calling this out for what it is and the terrible, terrible idea here. I think they keep trying to tell us over and over again that our elections are not secure, and then they can't produce the results. I mean, they spent how much money and how many years trying to prove that the 2020 election was, didn't go the way that everybody said it went. I mean, he lost. That's what happened in 2020. And so I think, I'm glad that we get to hear Senator Tillis now. I think it is a reminder that we should be hearing from more of our elected leaders. The American people deserve better. No matter where you are, no matter who represents you, you deserve better than what you're getting right now. And these Republican members of Congress have got to get it together. And they know they're about to lose in the midterms because the American people are tired of this.
And the American people certainly are tired, but the question still remains, will the American people show up en masse? We know this Saturday will be the No Kings rally across the country. Talk to us about how you plan to participate or support, if at all. And, what's your call to action to the folks that are particularly sitting on the sidelines, folks who may not be the, going to a rally type, may not be the type to, sign petitions. But, what is your call to action to the silent majority that exists in this country across the political spectrum as we're coming up on the No Kings rally this weekend?
Yeah, there's something for everybody. There's something for all of us to do. My daughter made a rainbow sign that said respect. And so we, at the last No Kings rally, we went and she had her sign and I had my sign and we stood there, and that was the right thing for our family. But we know there are people delivering groceries to neighbors who can't leave the house because of fear of ICE. We know that there are neighbors who are taking Black history books and sticking them in all the little free libraries to push back on this censorship agenda. We know that there are people taking action all over the country every day in defense of the country they want this country to be, the neighborhood they want to live in, and the way they want to live in harmony in their community. I mean, we've seen people take to the streets in Minneapolis. We see, the courage of the people of Los Angeles in response to what was going on there with respect to ICE. So there have been lots of ways over and over and over again that people have been showing up and speaking out, and voting is absolutely a crucial piece of that. But always calling your member of Congress is, it's an old standby. It's one that's been going on for a while, but you can also just show up at their office. No matter where you live, there is a congressional office near you. There's a district office, and you can go talk to them about what you think is going on, about how you feel about gas prices and going to war for no good reason. And the death and destruction that we've seen and the bigotry and hate. And so there's a lot of ways to get involved. I hope everybody finds their place, their way to speak out and be heard, as they are telling us over and over again, they don't want to hear what we have to say, which means we just have to say it louder.
Well, just for our listeners and viewers, you should know that as reported by The Hill, millions of people are expected to take to the streets this Saturday for another round of No Kings demonstrations against the backdrop, of course, of escalating tensions over immigration enforcement and the war with Iran, as Liz has just noted. The protests against the Trump administration, which swept across the U.S. last year, it's planned for March 28th with a flagship event in the Twin Cities, the center of President Trump's immigration crackdown in Minnesota. Organizers said just last week that more than 3,000 rallies were scheduled in cities nationwide, stretching from coast to coast, including New York City, Chicago, and right here in Los Angeles, where I'm broadcasting today. In Washington, D.C., my East Coast home, an estimated 4,000 protesters are expected to march across Memorial Bridge, past the Lincoln Memorial, and on the Washington Monument in defense of American democracy, the rule of law, and a healthy planet. And so go to the No Kings website and look for ways to plug in. On my show, we oftentimes encourage people to do what they can from where they are with what they have. And if all you have is a sign or a bullhorn, if all you have is the will to want to be amongst other concerned Americans that make a declaration to this president, to this government, peacefully, not in my name, then tap into the No Kings rallies across the country this weekend. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. More with Liz King when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Texas Senator John Cornyn is backing the Save America Act requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. He says Democrats shouldn't oppose fair election measures.
Trying to think, what possible reason could they have? One is, of course, Trump derangement syndrome.
The president warns no deals until voting rules are tied to Homeland Security funding. A California jury has awarded a Black woman, Lakivia Kiki Wilson, $15 million after finding her city supervisor created a racist, hostile workplace, even calling her an entitled N-word. Wilson says the verdict brings long overdue accountability. And Howard University and Bowie State University are launching a $4 million federal initiative called Ascend AI to boost AI literacy. The program will train students and faculty to use artificial intelligence responsibly. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For nearly 50 years, OPL Law has changed lives, restored futures, and delivered justice. When your world turns upside down after an accident, reputation and success matter. We're real people who fight for real people. OPLLaw.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron going scoreless in the first half of an NBA game does not happen too often. LeBron did not score in the first half, and the Lakers lost at Detroit Monday night. He missed all 5 of his shots and had no free throw attempts. It was only the 3rd time in LeBron's 23-year career that he failed to score at least 1 point in the first half. The last time was in 2010. LeBron finished Monday's game with 12 points and 10 assists. Even though the season is over for the USC women's basketball team, the future of the program looks strong. USC has the #1 rated recruiting class in the nation coming to campus in the fall. The class includes 3 5-star players, guard Sania Hall of Ohio and forward Satia Fagan of Australia and Sarah Okeke from Spain. Also, All-American Juju Watkins will be back after recovering from a knee injury. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. So who's really paying the price? Scores of people dead and counting. Over 9,000 homes burned to the ground. Entire neighborhoods in Altadena gone. The Altadena Eaton Canyon fire is one of the deadliest fires in California history. And Edison's own CEO told investors the company has not identified any other possible source of ignition. In other words, they started it. So what does the man at the top walk away with? Pedro Pizarro took home $16.6 million in cash, stock, and other compensation last year, a 20% raise from the year before. Let that sink in for a moment. A 20% raise, while families in Altadena are still sifting through the ash. Now, Edison will tell you they cut executive bonuses by 40%. Sounds like accountability, right? Wrong. 6 senior executives lost an estimated $2 million in bonuses. On the very same day, the company reported $4.5 billion in profit for 2025. $2 million out of $4.5 billion. That math ain't mathing. That's not a penalty. That's a rounding error. And here's the part that should really make your blood boil. Over $1.6 billion in damages from a previous fire that SCE equipment started is now being covered not by the company, but by SCE customers just like you and me through rate hikes. The victims of utility failures are being asked to pay for the utilities' failures. Sickening, shameful, disgraceful, reprehensible. You choose your own word. The people lost everything. The CEO got a raise. The company posted record profits, and your electricity bill is going up. As you well know, KBLA Talk 1580 has been out front and unapologetic about demanding accountability for SoCal Edison. But this is far from accountability. This is the system working exactly as it was designed, just not for you. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the beat. Come on and talk with me.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Cordelai Corte, your guest host. You can typically find me right here on KBLA Talk 1580 weekdays, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. As the host of A More Perfect Union and KBLA White House correspondent, on our show, we like to go beyond the trending headlines, and we attempt to separate the fact from the fiction with expert political analysis, leaders from the front lines, people shaping our culture. And so if that's your vibe, you are invited to tap in from 4 to 6 p.m. right here on KBLA Talk 1580. But this hour on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, I'm really delighted to be in conversation with Liz King. Folks who may be a little less familiar with her incredible body of work. She's formerly with the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. She was there for about a decade, where she led the organization's work to ensure that all students are fully included in welcoming schools from early childhood through post-secondary education. And before that, she was a senior policy associate for education at the Children's Defense Fund, where she focused on school discipline reform and school funding equity. Liz, I want to ask you about just sort of the state of affairs with the U.S. Department of Education. It really just seems like total dysfunction. But of course, we know that total dysfunction is intentional. It seems to me that we're witnessing a great transfer of responsibility from the federal government to the private sector. Catch us up on what's happening beyond the headlines at the U.S. Department of Education.
Yeah, things at the Department of Education are a mess. You know, the Department of Education is a civil rights agency, and it has two jobs: to protect students from discrimination and advance equal opportunity in education. And what we're seeing right now is Secretary McMahon and the leadership of the Department of Education doing everything it can to dismantle and walk away from its legal obligations provided by Congress. So, I mean, right now, there's just a whole mess of things happening with respect to student loans. We created this debt finance system of higher education. We said that, you know, we made people take on debt to finance their own education by disinvesting public dollars in our system of higher education. And now we're trying to make it even harder for them to pay back those loans. We're seeing the clawback and the closing of doors for early care and education programs, undermining of K-12 education, both educational quality and equity broadly. So things are a mess over there. I think they're trying to prove by doing government badly that government can't work, when we all know it's not government that's the problem, it's them. But this is another example where the Trump administration is going too far for even congressional Republicans. They keep calling themselves trying to shut down the Department of Education, but they have to keep doing this end run around it because nobody actually supports that agenda. And so they call themselves, you know, returning power to the states, but all they're doing is just messing around with the system. I mean, it's not that we have a distributed system of control for our education system. Most of the decisions made in our education system have always been at the school and the school district level. The states have their role and the federal government has their role. But it is because the Department of Education is a civil rights agency that they're trying to destroy it, because their agenda really is about closing doors of opportunity and limiting the chance people have to pursue an education. And so it is a mess. It is distressing, and it is an agenda that nobody supports, that they really need to back off of. I mean, we are going to be spending years and years digging out of this mess and trying to get things back on track. Just as one example, you know, the Department of Education is responsible for doing research about how children learn how to read and do math. And that research helps teachers do their jobs better. So we're going to have this big gap in time when that research wasn't getting done, which is going to make it harder for teachers to do their job for the next several years. I mean, this is an agenda that is about keeping people ignorant. It's about denying people opportunity and denying people self-determination. I mean, that's what this is really all about.
You know, the denial of education, the denial of opportunity, it continues. They definitely are pulling out all the stops to make it more cumbersome for folks to not just have an equal opportunity and have their civil rights affirmed, but literally they're making things more challenging for us as consumers. The Associated Press is reporting that student loans are to go to the Treasury Department as Trump continues to dismantle the Education Department. That's right. You all heard me correctly. The U.S. Education Department is handing off a portion of its student loan portfolio to the Treasury Department. This is seen as a first step towards shedding management of all student loans as the Trump administration officials dismantle the agency. It's worth noting that under an agreement that was announced just last week, the Treasury Department will take over management of student loans whose borrowers are in default, meaning that they are months behind in payments. Those loans add up to about $180 billion, or 11% of the government's $1.7 trillion student portfolio. Eventually, the Treasury Department is to take responsibility again for all student loans. Liz, what do you make of this move by the Trump administration? And just as consumers, what should we brace ourselves for with this transition of student loans from the U.S. Department of Education to the U.S. Department of Treasury?
I mean, first of all, they should have just canceled this debt. We should be canceling student loan debt. We know the economic benefits it provides. We know the ways in which student loan debt is interfering with people's ability to buy a house and to move forward in their careers. And so baseline, that is what they should have done. I think what we're going to see is it's going to get harder for people to pay back their loans. You're going to get stuck in these paperwork loops where, you know, this piece of paper is going to get lost and then that cancellation is going to be ineligible. I mean, the student loan system has been a mess for years and needed to be resolved. Cancellation was clearly the only path forward. And instead of fixing a problem, they're making it 10 times worse. So I think we really are going to see with this new role for the Treasury Department that does not have specialized expertise with respect to the administration of the student loan program, that is not responsible for ensuring equal educational opportunity. That's not the job of the Treasury Department. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the expertise. And they're just going to make it a lot harder for individual borrowers. To your point, this is a huge consumer protection issue. I think we're going to see a lot more exploitation of students, of student loan holders, and things are going to get really bad. It's going to get harder to pay bills. It's going to get harder to afford life and harder to move forward. And this is a really wrong-headed decision. Thankfully, we've seen some good oversight by congressional Democrats. We're going to need to see more. But Republican members of Congress need to step up and say this is a mess, and we can't let people be treated this way.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host, along with Liz King, civil rights advocate and policy expert. When we come forward, we are working our way through some of the most consequential headlines today. These are the headlines that are keeping people up late at night. I was just asking Liz that question at the top of our conversation because every day as we curate this show and as I curate my show in Afternoon Drive Time, A More Perfect Union, that's one of the North Stars that I think about and task our team with thinking about. Like, what are the issues that people are talking about at their kitchen table? What are the issues that are keeping them up late at night? We know student loans are one of those many issues. And we're going to get into more of those issues when we come forward. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Roger and Tracy saved over $18,400. Cynthia was recovering from a family tragedy and saved over $10,300. If you are drowning in debt, then call Debt Blue. Debt Blue is a professional debt negotiation firm with over 20 years of experience helping people pay back a fraction of what they owe. Learn how to cut your debt up to half or maybe more. Be debt-free in 24 to 48 months, even with bad credit. With an A+ rating from the BBB, you can rest easy knowing Debt Blue is going to deliver guaranteed debt reduction. Debt Blue offers a success guarantee. You pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. That's right. You save money or it's free. Call now for significant debt relief and a free consultation. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879. You don't have to declare bankruptcy. This program works if you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in debt. Call for your free consultation today. 800-200-8879. That's 800-200-8879.
Heading out of town this spring? Metro makes getting to LAX easier than ever. Just take the C or K train lines to the new LAX Metro Transit Center. Then catch a free shuttle straight to your terminal. Easy, affordable, stress-free. Travel smart. Go Metro.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage career track jobs. The LA Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. And they are advocating for a fair deal for black workers in the new Los Angeles City Charter. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing, or learn about union apprenticeship programs and trade registries, please visit lablackworkercenter.org. That's lablackworkercenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis and build a more equitable Los Angeles. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Faye Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me.
You're listening to and streaming
Come on and listen
Jesse
to
Jackson
me.
Jr. Show.
KBLA.
Dr. Cordelai Corte, your guest host, along with Liz King, who has been joining me. I've really been enjoying our conversation over the course of the hour. Liz King, who is formerly with the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. She's worked for the Children's Defense Fund. We've been talking a lot about some of the things that are keeping folks up late at night, whether we're talking about the assault, and there's no other way to think about it, the assault on the way we do elections here in the United States. You got to ask yourself, how is it that this president, he believes the results of the 2024 election, hasn't questioned the legitimacy of the 2024 election. Every chance he gets, he reminds people how big he won in the 2024 election, winning every swing state. And so how is it that there is so much confidence in our elections in 2024? Not just from the president, but from Republicans across the country, because you might remember Republicans have maintained control of the House of Representatives, took control of the U.S. Senate, and controlled the White House. And so why is there so much confidence in that election? But all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we need to overhaul our elections across the country. Could it be because Republicans are out of touch? Could it be because the people of America are sick and tired of being sick and tired of a government that is prioritizing what appears to be, what feels like everything but their priorities? Weren't there so many of our fellow Americans that said that economic anxiety, that was a big part of why they sided with Trump in the last election? That's what they said. So my question to them is, how's your economic anxiety feeling today? Did it get any better when you pulled up to the gas station? Did it get any better when you looked at your energy bill? By the way, my home in DC, I was looking at the energy bill, up 142%. Pepco, if you're listening, what's that about? And so the cost of sending your kid to college, the cost of doing everything has gone up. But meanwhile, you have an administration that has asked Congress to write them a fresh check for $200 billion to facilitate the war in Iran. Liz King, what do you make of that? I think there are a number of folks that might say it is absolutely unconscionable that after the billions of dollars that Congress gave to this administration by way of the so-called big, beautiful bill, that, 3 weeks into this war in Iran, the administration is already asking for more money to facilitate this war, $200 billion more, while we have folks who are struggling to pay their student loans, in default over their student loans. A record number of Americans are tapping into their 401k plans earlier, basically sooner than later, in order to help make ends meet. What do you make of this request the administration has made to Congress?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at this war in Iran. War is always the wrong answer, and war never makes us safer. But this is an example of a war that was, even by the standards of people who think you can justify war, would say there's no justification for this war. So not only is this a war that is making us less safe, that it is hurting the lives of everyday Iranians who deserve peace and democracy and self-determination, just like everyone in the United States deserves. But to your point, I mean, this is costing a whole lot of money, and that money is coming at the expense of infrastructure and jobs in the United States, at the expense of education and nutrition programs. We get told there's not enough money for healthcare. We get told that people have to use a GoFundMe to cover their cancer treatment. At the same time, they got money to go blow stuff up in Iran, and they can't even figure out why. They can't even tell us why they got to go blow stuff up in Iran. And I mean, it is so awful how much all of this is happening. But to your point, I think there is an understanding of how unpopular these policies are. And that makes me scared, because every time they realize how unpopular their stuff is, they come up with some new distraction. They come up with some new way to talk about something else, because they don't want to talk about the real issues. They don't want to talk about what's really going on. They don't want to talk about, the real causes of homelessness, because housing is so expensive. And I think you're absolutely right that the cost of this war will live on. I mean, who on earth comes to the conclusion in the 21st century that what we need is another war in the Middle East? I mean, whose takeaway from the war in Iraq was, let's do that again? I mean, certainly not Colin Powell. Like, it is so terrible to be in this situation again and realize how much we have been failed by so many of our elected leaders who, this is obviously, it's Trump calling the shots here, but the rest of them are letting him do this. And they need to be held to account. They need to be told that this is not in my name. Like you said before, none of this. Don't kidnap my neighbors in my name. Don't take away people's food stamps in my name. Don't take away people's housing in my name. And certainly don't go bombing other countries in my name. I mean, it's an agenda of violence and domination and abuse, and it's done. It needs to stop. We can't keep doing this.
You're right. But let me tell you, the Pentagon ain't stopping seeking $200 billion in additional funds for the Iran war, a sizable amount that is certain to be met with questions by Congress. It's worth noting that the department sent the request to the White House. And when asked about the figure at a press conference last Thursday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not directly confirm the amount, saying it could change. And so today it's $200 billion. It could be significantly more in short order. But you know what he said that really stood out to me, as reported by the Associated Press? It takes money to kill bad guys. That's what the Defense Secretary said. It takes money to kill bad guys. But he said, we're going back to Congress and our folks there to ensure that we are properly funded. Again, to Liz's point, you drive around any major city across this country and you can see the challenges we have related to homelessness. And we're told we don't have enough money to address that. That's what they're telling the people. But somehow we have found $200 billion or more. That's what they're on the hunt for. And I think they likely will get it. And I think that is a crying shame. But we all get to decide what we allow in our name. We have an opportunity to make our voices heard peacefully this Saturday at a No Kings rally in a city near you. Liz, where can people go to follow you and follow your work?
Well, I don't have a good online presence, but if you go to the No Kings Rally website, I will see you out there on the street. Look for me and my daughter with her rainbow sign, calling for dignity and respect for all of our neighbors, for all people, an end to the war, and a move towards democracy and equal opportunity. And so I hope we'll see everybody out there on Saturday. It's up to us. It's always been up to us, and it's up to us again. You know, we are the change we seek in the world. And let's go do it. Let's go make our voices heard. Let's go make our faces seen. I'll see you on Saturday.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. More in our next hour with Barbara Armwine.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Texas Senator John Cornyn is backing the Save America Act requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. He says Democrats shouldn't oppose fair election measures.
Trying to think, what possible reason could they have? One is, of course, Trump derangement syndrome.
The president warns no deals until voting rules are tied to Homeland Security funding. A California jury has awarded a Black woman, Lakibia Kiki Wilson, $15 million after finding her city supervisor created a racist, hostile workplace, even calling her an entitled N-word. Wilson says the verdict brings long overdue accountability. And Howard University and Bowie State University are launching a $4 million federal initiative called Ascend AI to boost AI literacy. The program will train students and faculty to use artificial intelligence responsibly. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For nearly 50 years, OPL law has changed lives, restored futures, and delivered justice. When your world turns upside down after an accident, reputation and success matter. We're real people who fight for real people. OPLlaw.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron going scoreless in the first half of an NBA game does not happen too often. LeBron did not score in the first half, and the Lakers lost at Detroit Monday night. He missed all 5 of his shots and had no free throw attempts. It was only the 3rd time in LeBron's 23-year career that he failed to score at least 1 point in the first half. The last time was in 2010. LeBron finished Monday's game with 12 points and 10 assists. Even though the season is over for the USC women's basketball team, the future of the program looks strong. USC has the #1 rated recruiting class in the nation coming to campus in the fall. The class includes 3 5-star players, guard Sania Hall of Ohio and forward Satia Fagan of Australia and Sarah Okeke from Spain. Also, All-American Juju Watkins will be back after recovering from a knee injury. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Girls who run the world, girls who run this mother.
Women's History Month doesn't end. It crescendos this Friday on KBLA Talk 1580. It's a total takeover. All day, all night. Women's voices only. Santita Jackson and Amanda Seals join our all-star lineup of women talkers as special guest host for the day. Oh my God! And our lineup of guests includes entrepreneurs, poets, elected officials, authors, activists, creatives, and music artists, including the Grammy Award-winning Faith Evans.
I never knew there was a love like this before.
And Guapale. There's only one Faith Evans, and 25 years after she asked us to get closer, Guapale also comes live in studio to celebrate the debut album that became a classic this Friday, only on KBLA Talk 1580. Tune in, turn it up. This one's ours.
We run this mother. Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson.